Welcome everybody to another chat. Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, and welcome back, Dr. Johann.
Thank you.
As I've said before, he's a relative of ours, been in practice for over 40 years,
40 years.
We've been discovering little nuggets as we've been chatting and like to pass them on to you. So using me again as the guinea pig, the last maybe 4 months I've been battling to sleep, right? So, which is not uncommon, but this time I wake up in the night, jump out of bed, and I have this restless foot irritation. I don't know if it's the foot or the leg or whatever. So I went to the pharmacist and he said to me it can be a number of things. I could have a pinched nerve, or he suggested vitamin B12. And I wanted to ask you about vitamin B12 because I subsequently have started taking vitamin B shots. I find them cheaper and easier than the injections. And also here in South Africa you need a script every time you want to have the injection. Yeah. So I do find it gives me a lift, but what is the difference between the vitamin B12 and the rest of the vitamins? How would that be affecting my legs?
I'll answer you with a basic answer question. As your question goes, what is different between the vitamins that you want to know about affecting your body's physiology, meaning your body's functions? Remember, your nerves in your body are lined by, just use common layman, by fat. And there are axons and there's transmission going along your nerves. And all these nerves are supplied by vitamins, they have to have. They've got to have certain oxygen supply from the blood vessels that are in their area, and they've got to have minerals to create and make this transmission happen. It's like an electric cord, putting a plug in and having a spark at the end if you touch two wires. But you've got to have your electricity in your body working well. And all these vitamins, and even the food supplements we need, like calcium and magnesium, these are vital, what we call trace elements, and they're all part of the need to keep the electrical stimulus going down a nerve and to, shall we say, stimulate something at the end of the nerve. In your case, it's a muscle because you're getting a spasm, the muscle goes into a spasm. And in other people's cases, it's caused by a pinched nerve because the nerve's been like knocked and blocked off and it can't transmit further down. Or it's only allowing a part of the nerve to function, which irritates and starts a sensation in the leg or foot. It's called paresthesia, the burning feeling. Or you get the cramps again because only certain motor functions are working and there's not enough supply coming down there to provide the other sensory parts of the muscle needs. So you get this movement and you need to rest one position, then rest another position, and you feel you get cramps and you've got to put your leg over the end of the bed because by doing so you're increasing the oxygen supply from the blood supply to the area of the limb. So there's another cause. You've now got nerve entrapment, you've got minerals, you've got oxygen supply, you've got obstructed blood supply, you've got cardiovascular diseases, you've got so many factors, vitamins, trace elements, they all add up. But a physician or a specialist involved with vascular disease will probably give you a better answer to explain why your limb or your toe or your foot is having these experiences. They can measure what is going on. The electricity from the nerve, they can measure the muscle functions, they can measure muscle action on certain positioning of the leg, they can measure the blood flow, they can measure blockage in the leg, all things which can add to your misery. And in different ages it happens more frequently. A sports person coming off a field of sport where he's been actively engaged, I mean, he's sweated, he's had to go and have functions, he's had to have a shower, he's had to do many things. Replace his liquids was vital to him, because with a fluid intake, it's not only just a fluid, it's also providing him with minerals which are necessary for him not to get cramps after the sport event. The spasm of the muscle is because there's accumulation of acids. We call them lactic acids. They're all various kinds of other acids.
So the minerals and the vitamins working together?
They work together.
So that's interesting. So for me, I see if I go and look at like a Vital brand, they have vitamins for over 50s,
yes,
right? So are we
with calcium and magnesium?
Oh, so that's it. So are they different
or something like that,
seasons, different dosages?
Sodium
different...
is very important. chlorides are important because those are the salts, and then the trace elements, and then of course the vitamins. Vitamins are converted to use in certain function, and those vitamins are part of, shall we say, continuing the electronic transmission
Interesting.
and the functions at what we call the motor neuron end plate, which is where the nerve comes and actually stimulates the muscle at this particular position where the muscle can start acting. And there are certain things happening in the muscle, which is physiology of it. So they call them ectomycin, and there are also aspects of minerals taking place there that change the function of the fine little muscle cells. It's all physiology,
But
it's there to be, you could research it too if you want to.
the link, I remember there was a phase I was pregnant with a few friends, and we all used to go, I don't know if it was bi-weekly for our shot, right? Our vitamin B
Yes,
shot.
that's
Now, is it psychosomatic or does it give you energy?
No. It also stimulates the brain. It has that well-being feeling. It does help with the well-being.
You suggest ongoing vitamin B shots?
I don't think it's necessary if your diet's sufficient and a high profile of your body's exercise program is considered with supplementation. In other words, a sportsman must have a different profile of food intake.
Okay.
Person who's sedentary or office worker is different. And the amount of energy you're needing, your kilojoules you burn up in a day, and the fats you require, fats are vital to your diet. And not to mention sugar, of course, and of course you go to the proteins. But all these aspects of your functions, what you do in your day job. A hard-working man in the garden digging up, he needs different kind of foods to a person sitting as in an office, and more of and less of others. So you've got to consider everybody individually.
And the vitamin B itself, the 12, can you get that specific vitamin B from a plant?
Food.
Or,
Yes, all our foods contain vitamin B12. All our foods contain vitamin B6.
Sure.
All our foods contain our nuts and our fruits and obviously some meats. You're carrying animal products over to you. It's the blood that actually carries it. Remember, our blood carries oxygen because it has red blood cells. And red blood cells contain iron in it. And you can't have the iron function to carry the oxygen if you don't have the vitamins. And there are certain aspects of that which is also influenced by other factors like minerals, your calcium, your magnesium. And there are little enzymes that work to carry these products into your red blood cells and make your red blood cells a better carrying capacity. Your hemoglobin content is better or better quality to carry the oxygen.
I'd like to chat about next segment,
Yes.
the iron, because my daughter had a bit of an issue at school, and we wanted to find out a bit more about that. So
it's a very specialized area of interest because it's different people for different issues. As a sports person, women in menopause, young kids, deprivation of certain things in your diet, people coming from different genetic backgrounds, like our people who live in Africa. You've got the tribes up in Kenya that carry a certain type of red blood cell. The heme, which is the iron part, has a higher carrying capacity for oxygen.
Well, I look
because
forward
they live,
to chatting about that with
little
you in a
interest.
moment. I'm going to come back and
sure.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Johann, and
Lovely.
look forward to the next segment with you.
Perfect.
Thank you all.